and we'll there we are. So we are live. Mics are live. Let's see, what music will we play as the intro.
I'm going to put my fucking bird picture right up there. Look at that. I'm going to be blocking it all off anyway, but what the hey.
Let's do some acoustic.
If I do that, people can see.
Acoustic cinematic, how's that? We'll just wait for some folks to pop in. I haven't used this one before, usually. Well, let's see, because it's a holiday, let's see how many people come in. Everyone who said they were going to come and join me today didn't get back to me, so that was a bit ordinary.
Yes.
This is very, 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 very not happening. Let's get the rock on, and we'll I'll unloop the track. We'll get the rock on, and then we'll get going. Okay.
Just for the footage of the Peregrine Falcon ride.
Yeah, I should get something like that happening. Yeah, it's one of those things that's on the back.
Kind of sounds like a Saturday afternoon fishing show or forwarding lights show.
Yeah, one of those boat shows. Yeah, we're getting out the country. This is hardcore bird watching. Yeah. I do like this clip. I'd like to commission someone to make me a hard rocking bird nerd clip with some squawks and some wattle birds.
It's a little bit like my local
Oh, it's going on and on and on and on and on. Hardcore bird nerds. That's what we are. That's why we're rocking. Hello, folks. I'm Grant. I'm a bird nerd. This is the Birdwatching Deep Dive, where I regularly am joined by tour guide, artist, ornithologist, former warden of the Broome Bird Observatory, among an operator of Aussie Wild Tours, and well, I'll let you talk about what's new and what's coming up in your tours, Ricki. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm stressed. Anyone who was on the earlier stream will know that I've been dealing with all sorts of technical issues. I bought a new computer, which I could barely afford to solve all my technical issues, and all that I've had is more technical issues. So I'm still using the old computer to stream, and I'm trying to get everything off the old computer onto the new computer so that I can just use the old one for streaming, and hopefully it will hold up to the rigours. But yeah, I've just, over the years, people update their software platforms, and the old tech finds it harder and harder to keep up as the platforms can do more and more things. But anyway, that's just one of those things. So, Ricki, it's been a pretty grim month in the world. Never more have we needed to get out and watch birds and commune with nature. So I'm guessing you've been out today.
Yes, I rose rather early today, a little bit before 4 a.m. and made my way down to Royal National Park, just south of Sydney here, which is pretty much my birding central place, and arrived there well before dawn and stepped out of my car to three southern boorbooks calling. And I walked along the trail a little bit and got another two. And then, so I was a little bit naughty, I guess. I'm pretty good at the boobook calls. So I'm like, woo, 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 woo. And down he came. I got beautiful views. I keep saying the tawny. It was the boobook, of course.
Yeah.
So down he came, and I got fantastic views of this beautiful little boobook, and and then so when he realised that it was just possibly some human being, he took off back up into the forest. But I know the tree where he roosts now, so I had a good look at that, and hopefully he's habitual and he roosts there a lot. Walking a little bit further along, there is known by some of the really into it, I guess, birders of the area that a white-throated nightjar lives around Fig Tree Flat at Audley. And so I got the white-throated nightjar, the call only, not the bird itself. So it was probably very well ensconced in the undergrowth somewhere across the river. But it's always lovely to get down there early and hear that nightjar, calling. That funny kind of almost cackle call they have, almost maniacal laughter call. And so proceeded along the trail to the dawn chorus as it started to emerge through the morning, and it was fabulous birding, and went down my little platypus spot, and oh my goodness, I spent about 20 minutes watching a platypus just swimming round and round right in front of me. At some points less than 2 meters away from me, and perfect views, better than you'll get in a zoo. And I paddled around for some time, then I saw him bob down and go into his hollow.
So is it just one platypus that you're seeing, or is it a couple?
When I first started seeing this platypus, I thought that he was that this was a pair, but I'm pretty sure from the kind of activity I was seeing today that it probably isn't a pair there at the moment, which might mean that the female's inside with little puggles, for all I know, inside the the burrow, which is an exciting thought.
Now, you're really regular visiting the same places in Royal National Park. So
I think it's a must for any birder to have a few trials where they go all the time.
yeah,
I think you learn so much about birds and birding if you consistently visit a couple of trials, pick say 3 trials maybe, and go to one of those trials every week, unless there's a seasonal thing going on. Like there's some trials that I don't go to in the summer and some I don't go to in the winter and vice versa. So I basically stopped going to Lady Carrington Drive in the middle of the winter these days. I make only regular visits there, and I go up to the ridge tops into the dry sclerophyll ridge tops that are just, the birding's amazing along some of those trails.
Is that because the regular species along Lady Carrington Drive actually move up in the winter?
Oh, look, I think some of them do, but you get a completely different suite of birds or a lot of different birds when you go up onto the ridge tops. So you can get many species of honey eaters up there and in huge numbers. So it's nothing to get 9 or 10 species of honey eaters along some of those trails, some of those ridgetop trails in the winter. And even like say some of the mellothreptids like the white-naped honeyeater, one day I stopped counting at 75, which is a huge number for Royal National Park. But you can get dozens of them up there, lots of brown-headeds, lots of all of the honeyeaters you love, great views of scarlet honeyeaters and that kind of thing. Lots and lots of noisy firebirds and all the good stuff. And along
all the good stuff.
And along with a host of, birds, because it's a dry sclerophyll woodland with interspersed by heath, but it's got quite a heathy understory even in the woodland. So plenty of fairy wrens and scrub wrens and, lots of whistlers and thornbills. And, it's just a gorgeous place to go birding up there on the ridge tops. And I think people might feel, it's not as pretty up there, but it is very beautiful once you tune into it. And the birding's absolutely sensational. So I take people on tours up there in the winter. I run my birding essentials workshops up there in the winter, and I really love it up there. But come the warmer months and the summer migrants start pouring into Sydney, I do love to go to places like Lady Carrington Drive. I really recommend Garrawarra Trail. If you love thornbills, you can't go wrong with the Bowler Creek or the Bowler Heights Trail, which basically adjoins Garrawarra. And the locals will know what I'm talking about with these, but these are classic, stunning forests with a beautiful suite of birds throughout them.
Do you know what the predominant vegetation type is in each of those locations?
Oh, yeah. So along Lady Carrington Drive, it's basically you get some dry sclerophyll elements. So we're talking about, eucalypts and a sparse sort of heathy sort of understory. But then it turns into a tall, wet sclerophyll forest and eventually into a quite a beautiful rainforest. It's a 10-kilometre long trail, and it is probably the best, generally speaking, the best bush birding in Sydney is along Lady Carrington Drive. There are other places you can go where you get specialist birds or slightly different birds, and you can have some great days birding there. But if you want a pretty much a sure thing, Lady Carrington Drive will never disappoint. And of course, the lyrebirds there are just in great numbers, and they're very confiding. So I can pretty much sidle up to and sit next to lyrebirds. And if people have seen some of the footage I've put on Twitter/X or Facebook over the years of just basically sitting right next to lyrebirds while they go about their business, including displaying. It's quite a thing. But Yeah, and now of course all the summer migrants are in, so it's full of colour and sound, and everything's breeding, and it's just sensational. Birds feeding young everywhere, and you watch all of the stuff that's unfolds when if you're a little bit like me and love to read all these different research papers and things like that, especially on little brown birds, as I'm still bashing my way through that, writing this book and reading so many papers, watching that all unfold live before you, all the work, the study of so many great researchers over, 30 and 40 years, it's just really something. And so many beautiful favourite summertime birds in. So, yeah, it's really beautiful there.
Just digress for a minute, since you brought up reading lots of articles, lots of academic papers.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen much that's been out recently with Australian little brown birds featured, apart from fairy wrens?
Well, I guess there's been a few papers out in the last 4 or 5 years about systematics and biogeography of acanthizids and malurids, especially acanthizids and malurids in a paper by Markey et al., which was basically more of a broader look at the Melophagides, or the broad honey eater group, which includes the pardalotes and includes the thornbills and scrub wrens and the fairy wrens. So, so was quite a good paper, and I think it really upped the ante in terms of getting the phylogeny right. And then more recently, I think it was Cockburn came up with a scrub wren, another look at the scrub wren phylogeny, or what they call the Sericornithinae phylogeny, so the scrub wrens and allies, and it's a fantastic piece of work. And then there's a few really good papers that cover a little on this in terms of looking at the broad evolution of Australian birds, and this stuff's just my bread and butter. I just love it.
I'll have to interview some more people. I really want to do some honey eater interviews. There's not that many honey eaters that are in the rare and endangered species sort of wheelhouse.
Regent's very up.
Regent is there, but look, try as I might, I haven't been able to get anyone working on the Regents to come on the show because they're generally connected to one of the zoos. So, I think I've mentioned, I've certainly mentioned on the show a number of times that when I want to speak to zoos in Australia, I just don't get anyone, pretty much.
Is it because most zoos are running...
Except for South Australia, Zoos SA do.
I was going to say, good old Nick Bishop.
Nick and... but that's not a basically adjunct of the government, of the state government. So that seems to be the issue there. Anyway, I'm not complaining. There's always plenty of people to talk about. It's just seems a bit,
maybe even talk about some people associated with some of the planting work that's going on around Cowra and Coberty Valley.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to reach out more to at the moment, Ricki, about people doing practical works, and sort of extending some of the threads that we've covered in the show over time. I mean, that's really how this segment has come about. So if you are watching, you will find all of the stuff happening on YouTube. Most of it on Facebook, but YouTube is where you find everything, and the audio podcast is where you find the stuff that's about endangered birds and the research and the practical work, so that I'm sticking true to what the podcast started as. Ricki, I wanted to go back to nightjars just for a minute.
Ooh, let's do it.
Well, I wanted to see if your experience is the same as mine. Just about every time I've seen a nightjar, it's been by accident. I've just stumbled upon them.
Yeah.
You startle them from they're having a lie-in on a track. So they'll start up as you drive along, or you just happen to disturb them as you're walking along, and they, as you said before, having a rest in the undergrowth, and bam, they'll bit like a snipe or a quail. They just explode
Gosh,
out
yeah.
of the way.
Yeah. That's my experience too. Mind you, I've only had spotted nightjar and white-throated nightjar. So I had spotted up in, it was quite interesting, spotted up in the old Mornington Sanctuary, the Australian Wildlife Conservancy. So we were heading out for a morning of trapping and banding gouldy and finches. And whenever I think of that, I have to mention the shocking Euro carcass, which was right next to the nets. And oh my God, it stunk extracting those birds from that net. But anyway,
the famous Gordian nest in the rotting kangaroo.
No. We had nets. Our mist nets were, and some Euro had quite inconsiderately died right next to where the net was, and it just went very ripe. And no one wanted to touch it or go near it, and it just stank to high heaven. But driving down to that spot, so beautiful, very, just like a sunrise drive across Mornington Sanctuary up there in the heart of the Kimberley. Can you imagine the landscape and the thrill of driving through such a place? And of course, we startled a couple of spotted nightjars, and one dropped a feather, which I still have in my possession. It's one of my favourites in the feather collection.
Got a terrible memory. I can't now think of the place that Millie and I got stuck for a week, but we flushed a spotted nightjar on the track going into the airfield. I
must get my spotted nightjar feather. I will be back.
And yeah, I've flushed. Hello, Kemp Killaby. Thank you for the Facebook love there. You obviously recognise the name.
Kemp. Yes, I've got my spotted nightjar feather. Look at that.
Very nice.
Hardly fresh off the bird though. That was 2005. That bad boy. But look at that. What a
nice.
fine memory this feather represents.
So Kemp must be a new member of the Riot Squad now, Ricki. So that's
yeah. Well, Kemp and I go back a fair way. We go back quite a way. So yeah.
That's good.
Known for a long time. Excellent plant man. Indigenous plant foods guy.
Oh,
and
nice.
Someone to talk to sometime, I feel.
No doubt.
Yeah, very good on his plants and very good on his. He has quite the affair going there up in the. I guess it's around a little in from Toowoomba, I think. He can correct us. He can type something and it will appear somewhere, I think. But,
very nice.
Yeah. Quite the affair going with native plant sales and all kinds of stuff. So big promoter of that. Give him a shout out.
Yeah, howdy. Now I should mention I want to see, because I was just noticing, I'm looking at my phone because I've been getting some alerts coming in on Twitter. I can tell you that some horse owned by some rich person won the race.
Well, as you can see, I'm saying that to the cup.
Yeah, and some other horse that I've never heard of, and some other horse came in. So fantastic! It's probably yeah. Look, I appreciate the holiday. That's all I can say about it. That's all I can say about it.
It's sort of birding holiday. But,
well,
I would have just called a holiday on those platypus sightings this morning. They were just superb.
Yeah, very good. So the point of bringing that up is I'm getting alerts. I can't see on the platform if anyone is joining us on Twitter. If you are watching us on Twitter now and taking part, you can't leave a comment or a message like everyone else can. But if you send me a message on Twitter while we're going, I have the phone right in front of me, so I'll get that alert, and we'll see if we can include you. Ricki, what I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about the most interesting thing that I've seen in my local patch in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the silver eye moving through.
Oh, yeah. All right. What are you getting?
Well, haven't I only got one choice? Isn't there
Grab
just...
the Bible. Oh, no.
Yeah. I think I've only got one choice. I mean, we obviously hadn't workshopped this beforehand. I thought we just had a couple of forms of the one silver eye, and now I know that we've got the yellow white eye.
You got the yellow white eye in
not in Melbourne, not in Melbourne.
Oh, I can say
I did catch that. I did catch that up north, and they're very different looking.
They're a beautiful bird, aren't they?
But the one I saw the other day had that really large russet patch on the side. But I thought they were all just, here we go, 486. I think we've only got one. We're both doing the same thing, aren't we, Ricki?
Yeah, I'm looking here, and I'm just. Yeah. Well, you should basically be getting. I would have thought at this time of year the same as we get in Sydney, because I'm now consulting the map, and I can see that you share the same silver eyes in Melbourne as we basically do, except you are unlikely to get Cornwallies, which is we do get Cornwallies now and again. But basically, yeah, we get the Western Ensis, you get the Western Ensis, and Lateralis have gone back to Tassie, at least from here. When you mentioned that, I thought, are you still getting Lateralis in Melbourne? Which you may well be.
Let me just put my the ones I saw were definitely Lateralis because of the
very dark flanks.
Yeah, that russety patch on
it's almost rufous flanks, really.
Yeah, so well, it says here I could be getting, what is it? Rocherus. Southern mainland subspecies similar to Lateralis, but flanks paler. So it may well have been that. I don't know. But I haven't seen silver eye here before in where I'm living, and I've been here since 2014, so it's the first time I've seen them. So I don't know if it's unusual. I saw them.
There used to be a garden bird in Sydney, but less so now. So that might be the case also that you're experiencing in Victoria, and you've got a few randoms.
Well, I did used to see them when I lived in East Gippsland, but it was only ever on the migration. They were around for a couple of weeks, and then they were gone, and then you'd see them on the way back for a couple of weeks, and then they were gone. So I think the birds that I saw in the last week, I saw them on 3 days. I think they were birds on the journey south. So, and look, everyone's on a journey these days, aren't they?
Well, as you are. Yeah.
Well,
I've had exciting times with birds, apart from today with all those lovely nocturnals. But I joined the throng that made the pilgrimage.
Oh, you went.
I went up there. I went up to that puddle on the side of a paddock in Richmond and got the painted snipe, which I can see you're celebrating behind you so aptly.
Gloria, I think was it the same one that Matt has tagged, or was it a different one that you
Well, if
you
he's
went to see?
tagged it, he hadn't tagged it before I was there. But
That's
there's a male and female there. The female departed for the other side of the paddock just as I was turning up. So I more or less dipped on her, but I did get the boy, and he was having a snooze and then having a little wander and then going back for a snooze, and he's very gorgeous. And for me, and I have to tell you, I've been birding for so long, but that was a tick.
oh, that was a that,
That was a
that
tick.
was a first tick.
I have never had in all my years of walking around wetlands or anywhere else with binoculars or scope a painted snipe. I'm
Yes,
always at the wrong place at the wrong time.
I can't claim one. Seen the
It completes my snipe, even though they are not part of the Galinago group.
no, I've the only one I can confidently say I've seen was the Japanese, or Latham's, isn't it? It's a Japanese snipe.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Yes, which you should change the name of in case, Though it is nice to sometimes say, well, that Latham snipe.
It's interesting how rapidly they're moving with the bird names for bird movement in North America. I hope
weren't we all didn't Nick Bishop and myself and a wonderful birder from the US join you on a program
yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did talk about that.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that we might have moved further ahead with decolonising our birds in Australia, but we're not going that.
I would like
that
to
quickly.
Yes, on this matter.
Yeah,
that we decolonise our birds.
Yeah, but we're certainly the folks that that do these things are moving rapidly in the US, and I think there's a move on too in the UK for the general bird names for birds movement, which I'm well into. So that's.
I'm kind of wondering where the name Columbia comes from and where the term columbiforms comes from in terms of pigeons.
Yeah, interesting. Well,
is it anything to do with that fellow that sailed across America and enslaved and murdered all of those people?
I don't know. Look, that's homework for next week, Rick. For next.
I think it'd be really interesting to know what is Columbia named after, and does that have any relationship to the naming of the pigeon family?
Yeah, for the person who discovered. Don't you love those terms?
It's so ridiculous. That Dirk Hartog or Christopher Columbus discovered Australia, or that somebody discovered, Mount Warning,
Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah,
it's great, isn't it?
But I tend to use, when I do talk about the living world, I usually use the term described for science.
Yes.
So the first person who described this for science, they didn't discover, possibly some things have been discovered by, worthy naturalists out there wandering around even in the 1800s, but more recently. But yeah, it's probably something to be a little more thoughtful about before doing. But yeah, I went off and got the that snipe, and it was a fantastic time. It almost completes my shorebirds for Australia. It only leaves me with the redneck phalarope and the little ring plover, if we're going to drag that in. If the little ring plover, which I'm not sure is really what you could call part of the Australian shorebird list, or shorebird, member. But I guess if you've seen it, you would say, oh, yes, it certainly is. And if you haven't, you'd be going like, is it? Hardly any ever come here, and they're almost vagrant.
Well,
so.
Yeah, like does every bird that's got a vagrant record, is that, do we include it?
Certainly not. It's a little bit like the common, oh no, I can't think of the name of it. The common, I'm embarrassed. This is a bird that I went out particularly to look for, and it is the common red shank, which I got a few of. Not when I was warden at Broome. I don't think I got a red shank when I was warden at Broome, but I've got a red shank on all my subsequent visits to Broome. But the common red shank, I guess you could say it's here in numbers and it's always here. So you could say that's definitely a member of the Australian Scolopacidae.
And depending on where they are, they're probably around. I mean, look, I say this all the time. I think a lot of the birds that we think are really, really, really irregular are probably here more often than we think. There's just nobody
you've got to
there.
See them. Yeah, and they go.
I mean, if a tree falls in the forest, it's that kind of.
Well, it is a little bit like that because shorebirds, they can, especially in northwest Australia and northern Australia, can go to some pretty out of the way places, and we may not have discovered some of the best of it all yet for some particular species. But common redshank we know turns up around some of the shorelines of Northern Territory and northwest Australia. It's a bit of a regular around Broome. I'm not so sure about little ring plover. I know that you get it occasionally at Broome, especially around the water treatment works there, or the poo ponds or sewer plant, whatever you want to call it. But it may appear elsewhere. If anyone's had experience of that, I'd love to know. I know that a couple of the locals up there do get them fairly frequently, but I don't know. I kind of wonder, like, how well distributed does a bird have to be like that? When it's a migratory bird, there could be just literally a blow in.
Well, all those records on Ashmore Reef, that are counted as Australian birds. But
well, that's what half the thickness of this book almost is given over
Ashmore Reef.
Various things that turn up on little reefs and islands around Australia. But I do like that this is comprehensive in that respect.
Yeah.
One of the things that this tome.
One of the things that surprised me when I was up at Cairns with Millie, and we went we went down to a turf farm where the Cairns bird group, BirdLife group go, and they get wagtails, Northern Hemisphere wagtails, really regularly there. So,
which ones do they get? They get the yellow?
I think it was the yellow.
North Australia. Yeah.
I think it was the yellow.
Real regular.
And it just makes me wonder how many more species that are, unless you're a birder, you just go, oh yeah, brown bird over there. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So, yeah. You probably, all eyes are out round Broome because Broome seems to be a place where vagrant birds come in. And what they do, it's very funny. They seem to work their way through the scrub when they come into Broome, and it all ends, that scrub pretty much ends. The last water hole is the bird bath at the back of the the camp kitchen of Broome Bird Observatory. And so you get all kinds of amazing birds turning up in Broome Bird Observatory's bird bath.
Right.
And
putting that on the list to go to the camp kitchen and just
if you have not been to Broome and gone to the camp kitchen, you should. I'm due for a trip back there. It is. I adore the place.
Now, have you got any more news that you for yourself?
I think something just relating to the painted snipe, and that is if you're on X or Twitter, you might have seen somebody posting. Now, I think it was the good people who do the painted snipe survey work posted a photo of
the one in the plant nursery.
Yes.
Wasn't that amazing?
That blew my mind. That is that. You know what that just said to me when I saw that. I just thought, because we see this. I think it's the sunbird in America does it, and some plovers will do that, where they stick the wings out and to defend their young or to look bigger and defend their territory. And I just went like, oh my God, this little dinosaur is just telling us what feathers were originally used for among dinosaurs. I'm gonna look bigger, and
I'm getting it now. So I'm getting it now. It's just
it is a stunning image. It just tells us so much about this whole class of organisms. I think that photo, it just, because it was just, you had this very ordinary, as this juxtaposition of the very ordinary, these little pot plants in a nursery, with this extraordinary and rare and very endangered bird doing this beautiful little bit of behaviour right in front of it. And I just love that picture. I should have even downloaded one for myself to just look at now and again.
Here we go.
It's just stunning.
I'm just finding it now. Of course, X is because I haven't been on the computer for a few days. It's kicked me out, but I'll just find the Australian.
I can find it, but I don't think I can share it.
Tracking the Australian.
Yeah, that's the paper.
Painted snipe.
Let me see. I have another feather to rub around that you want too. Cool. Speaking of nocturnals, while you're looking for that, tawny frogmouth. Got a bunch of these lately, so they must be in molt. These little bad boys. Tawny frogmouth. And here's a good one I got in the trail the other day. Juvenile white-bellied sea eagle. So it's quite a good one. I saw a white-bellied sea eagle, and then 10 minutes later I found it was a juvenile one, a white-bellied sea eagle feather.
Now, I'm just going to read out what Matt Herring posted for Tracking Australian Painted Snipe 5 hours ago. Over the last 5 weeks, 44 birds at 13 sites, from Mount Isa to Maldon in Victoria, highlighted by 25 birds at Balranald, which is where Matt has snagged Gloria. Gloria has a tracker on her. So yeah, so that's good. Now here's the one. So the photograph came in from Claguraba in Queensland. So let me just see if I can full screen the photo.
Claguraba might be more the word, but
it's Clagiraba.
Claguraba.
Yeah. So let me just share this so everyone can see it, because it is super cool. I love that it's in a nursery. I mean, the least sort of natural, natural place that you could.
I know. It's what I thought as soon as I saw it. Such a juxtaposition of the mundane and the extraordinary. Just an awesome shot.
Yeah, so you can see that. Are you seeing that there, Ricki?
I am not seeing it at the moment. I have a frozen image of you. With a snipe behind you.
Oh, that's because I haven't. There we go. Here it comes. Here it comes.
Look at that stunning thing. This is a stunning image. Oh my goodness, look at that. And it's got that little puddle.
It's a ripper, isn't it? I'll just full screen that so people can have a good
That look. Is not a chick behind its wing, is it, by any chance, do you think? No, probably not.
I don't.
It looks like there's something behind the foot that's bent back too. I wonder. Anyway,
Yeah,
we shall forever wonder. It could be just
I don't
pebbles.
think so. I think it's just
Someone
flotsam and,
could mention it, surely.
I think it's
yeah.
flotsam and jetsam from the just from
Yes.
the nursery, I think. But that is amazing.
Beautiful.
That's where you're going to find one of the rarest birds in Australia in a plant production nursery. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Now let's see. We've got
and that gorgeous bit of behaviour. Kangaroo
Stan's
eyed
with us.
purple-gaped honeyeater in my yard this week. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Cool. Good work.
There we are. So Stan's had the first purple-gaped honeyeater in his yard in South Australia in Kangaroo Island. So that is a ripper. Very happy for that, Stan. Been loving all the photos that Stan's been popping out of his new car. He's obviously very excited. So, all right. There we are. We'll pop that one down. Now, Ricki, I usually like to do a bit of a tour around of some of the rare bird alerts around various parts of the world. But before we get there, any other news in the Ricki bird world?
Well, a few things. One is I should say there are a couple of local, the spotted crake and red-kneed dotterels seen down the road from me seem to be a bit of a rarity that attracted a lot of attention in the last week or so. Basically between me and where good old Captain Cook landed on Botany Bay. Not far
where he discovered Botany.
Yeah, where Captain Cook came and discovered Australia. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, fabulous. But anyway, so that was a thing. But with my gig, I am off in March, early March, maybe February, to do a recce around Outback New South Wales because I'm going to relaunch my Outback Odyssey tours. So, which are going to be like an 8-day tour right around the Outback of New South Wales. So I'm going to run a couple of those next year. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Is that a tag-along kind of?
Yeah, it's going to be a tag-along tour. So, yeah, people come along, bring their car, and the accommodation is there's a little bit of camping, some cabins, and also a fabulous up in Gundabooka National Park, west of Bourke. We're going to stay in the beautiful shearers' quarters there. So it's a renovated historic, shearers' quarters. So that's fabulous up there, and the birding's just so good all through there. So really looking forward to this and to getting out and starting to share some of these birds that a lot of people spend times in the city just, sitting in their offices, looking out the window and dreaming about getting. So, those Hall's babblers and those white-browed tree creepers and, crested bellbirds and all those goodies.
And the thing is, if you're out there, you'll get them because the birds are out there.
It's a matter of understanding seasonality and where kind of habitats where you're likely to find them. Are they tied to a particular kind of soil or kind of landscape or whatever, or vegetation, and all of those kinds of things. And but it's lovely to go out there and see blue bonnets and mulga parrots and all of these kinds of things, and get some quail and quail thrush and just have a great time. And at night, of course, just seeing a billion stars above you and these gorgeous landscapes where you can just sit and be in nature, be in the landscape and just soak it up. And
mulga's amazing, mulga parrots.
Beautiful. It's that kind of stuff. And you start to get different fairy wrens out there as well. So, and the little brown birds. Oh, boy, that'll do me just alone, the little brown birds. But but I think a lot of people would like to see a nice range of babblers, a nice range of honeyeaters. The honeyeaters that you can see potentially on this trip it's quite enormous in number. And same with so many of the groups of birds. It's fabulous. The cockatoos and parrots and are another great score out there. So we don't go far enough out to get any of the I'm pretty sure we don't. No, we do not go far enough out to get our let me just make sure. I've never been out to get it, but no, we definitely don't go out far enough to get into grasslands. So we've got to drive about another 150, 200 kilometres to start looking at the off chance of walking along a dune and getting a grass wren. And that would add an extra couple of days maybe to the tour. And that's never really worked. What works with this tour is you depart on Saturday morning one week and you get back on Saturday night the next week. So you take 5 days off work. And so it works for people. And then you get your Sunday rest day before you go back to work.
That does sound really good, doesn't it?
Yeah. And that seems to be the formula that works for people, and the tried and tested formula. So that's what I'm returning to.
Good.
Yeah. And I do hope that sometimes I'm going to get an excellent landscape photographer who I can come along and make some of these tours also a little bit about landscape photography, and to attract a slightly broader audience and rope them into birding. So that may be something as well.
Very good, very good. Now, forgive me, I'm just looking up a few things. Now, you mentioned some of the birds that people have been very excited about. Now, do you know what this refers to, Ricki? Hello, Camp.
Trish Kelly. No.
Neither do I. So, thanks for that. I'm sure.
He's telling Trish Kelly that she needs to
go on the tag along tour.
Yes, well, yes, yeah. As should everyone. No, it really is. It is a great way to go, going out and sharing some many moments that will be really unforgettable memories.
Okay, now there's a teaser. That's what I'm looking at next, Ricki. You mentioned some of the things on this list, but remember last time we talked about, gee, is that really a rare bird? Should this be on the list? Now let's have a look at this. Rare bird alert for New South Wales in eBird. Magpie goose. I don't know.
Why not? It's kind of like we're getting in Bega Valley and Kempsey and plume whistling duck.
Plume whistling duck, Australian shell duck. I wouldn't have said
that.
Ivory?
Where's Walk Ivory?
I don't know, but that one there at Bogan.
Shell duck. Bogan's going off, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I wouldn't have thought a mallard in the Botanic Gardens. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, what a shock.
Blue-billed duck, helmeted guinea fowl. I mean, no. Hoary-headed grebe. Okay, maybe at
Dulwich Hill. That's pretty rare. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Great crested grebe in Cessnock. That's not a bad one. Wampu dove in Stanhope.
Where?
Stanhope. Singleton.
Yeah.
I mean that's a good get.
Yeah.
That's a good get. I mean that's not in the range usually. Horsefield bronze cuckoo, pallid cuckoo, brush cuckoo. Now brush cuckoo in Rosewood, Greater Hume Shire. That one's probably okay, isn't it? That's probably a good get.
Yeah, it's probably all right.
Tawny frogmouth, rare birds. I don't know. At Harden? No, I wouldn't have thought that was rare.
You know,
But
I
then
wonder
you got
if you just get pinged because people aren't out there seeing these birds, and when somebody does go there and see them, because it's something that's not very often recorded, it's flagged as a rare, it's a rare bird. Australian crake. Oh, okay,
Australian
here we go.
crake,
So this is all down the road from me. Metromix wetland at Kurnell.
Yeah.
This has been a place where someone's gone birding there and seen some things, and it's attracted others, and so they're seeing Australian crakes and Balin's crakes, and I don't know if
Balin's crake,
Balin's
and
crake.
and they've popped off all over the place. I saw them on Victoria as well.
Balin's crake isn't that rare. I mean,
No, that's the thing. I mean, they're
it's a common wetland bird.
not that often seen, but they're not that rare.
Yeah. I go to wetlands and regularly get a Balin's crake. Maybe I should be on eBird putting reports in or something. Banded lapwing. Well, there's the banded lapwings out there at Richmond as well. If you're going out there, I don't know. I'm pretty sure the painted snipe's moved on, but if it hasn't, there's banded lapwings just down the road from it. Red-kneed dotterel. Red-kneed dotterel is just another pretty common wetland bird.
Yeah.
Got a wetland, you've practically got a red-kneed dotterel there.
And again,
I'm waiting for them to turn up at the zoo, at Sydney Zoo where I work. We've got a little mini wetland out the back that gets a lot of black-fronted dotterels, and I've always got my eyes peeled for a red-kneed dotterel.
and red-cap plover.
When was that? November 5th. So that's just in the last couple of days. So it must be still out there.
There's
Well,
the
I'm up
painted
that way again tomorrow. I might even go and have another look.
So there's the painted snipe at Richmond Lowlands again.
Yeah.
Now, little curlew?
Gunnedah. A Gunnedah. That's possibly a really good sighting, you know?
It's
got a blackwit at Coffs Harbour. That possibly is too.
Yep. Latham snipe, common sandpiper.
It's a common Picktown Lagoon.
Picktown Lagoon.
That's a fairly good sighting. Common sands out there. I don't think it's the first record out there. I'm pretty sure they were there in the last couple of years. But a marsh sandpiper, the brick pits, Central Bathurst, that's pretty good sighting. And a woody at Central Coast. All right, yeah. And the woods.
At Wild.
Sharpies, Lake Liddell. Where's that? Musselbrook. Oh, yeah, all right. But you see, you're going to get this kind of thing because there's it's dispersal time. So you've got all your sandpipers and plovers all returning from Siberia and Alaska, and they're all just spread out, and because it's like crazy month where we're going to get a lot of this kind of thing, and probably we should have had more.
So we've got
always a goodie.
Yep, and that's on a tour with Birding Echo Tours.
Okay, that's a good get.
Kelp gull,
Tasman Sea, leaving Newcastle. Kelp gull.
Yeah, I reckon that's a pretty good one.
Gull-billed tern, Hunter Wetlands. Okay, all right. Okay. Gull-billed tern. They used to be just a long reef, irregular.
Now you're going to have to tell me what the Australian tern is, because what's the Australian tern? What did it used to be called?
Oh, let's have a look at it. Macrotassa. Now, I've got to tell you, terns aren't my strong point these days. I've kind of a little bit lapsed in them. So what was it? Because normally they're sterner. This is
in Murrumbidgee.
Chilidamus, whisky tern. I do not know that crested tern. Oh, the gull-billed tern, and they've called it the Australian tern. Oh, no, it's a different one. So, you've got the genus, the gull-billed tern is in the Gelachilidon genus, but this one's a Macrotassa. Is this a subspecies of the gull-billed? Oh,
just
well, gull-billed tern. Okay, yeah, gull-billed tern, because there's some variations there with gull-billed, and we do get a bit of a blend depending on the time of year. We will get a blend of the gull-billed tern, and there's a subspecies macrotassa and a finis, and so they're saying that they are naming, which is new to me, but
they're
they are
giving it
naming
a new species. Yeah.
yeah,
So
they related it to a species and are calling it the Australian tern. Okay, well, I'm always into splitting, so yeah, good stuff.
and and looking at this range, probably
Wow.
all the times I've been saying gull-bill tern, they're probably been Australian tern.
Well, you can pick the Australian tern now and add another to your list.
Yeah, but then should I take the other one off? That would be my thought.
Right. Well, you need to go to Broome then, so you can get both of them. And
Yeah, that's right.
so I'm now cheering because I've got another tick. Providence petrel.
I'm always impressed with anyone who gets something like a Providence petrel or a Tahiti petrel. I'm going to say they're beauties. Nankeen night heron, well done. Anyone who spots them, no matter where they are, at young, okay.
You can come out to Kurnell with me and spot a dozen of them at a time if you like.
Okay, are they always there? Have they got a colony?
Oh, yeah, really common.
Okay.
Yeah, really. There's a little odd patch there that I know where you can go and see dozens at a time. Nankeen night heron.
There used to be a spot in the Botanic Gardens in Melbourne where I could often see a couple.
Yeah.
Frequently you'd find a juvenile
there,
but I haven't seen them for a long time. So
there'd be one within a kilometre of where I'm sitting right now. Yeah, maybe 1,500 metres of where I'm sitting right now. There'd be an Nankeen night heron. Yeah. So redback kingfishers, they do get around, don't they? Forbes now. Yep. Okay. Forbes.
Just having.
Did I see somebody saying a redback kingfisher at Forbes, and that's
I've seen redback kingfishers, Forbes, and Denny, and in Glen Innes, all in through there.
Yellowtail black,
glossy black cockatoo at Ryde. That's a good one, isn't it?
It's pretty good. Yeah. Right, like in that area, yeah, that's a bit difficult because you can get them in not too far distant Ku-ring-gai National Park, the glossy. But yeah, it's pretty good. Decently sized lone black cockatoo with red tail moving around in the leaves of a tall gum tree for a brief period before flying away.
Okay.
Right. That sounds like Harry Crichton is on the money.
Yeah. Turquoise parrot Gerildery, well, yeah, you could expect to see them out there.
I would think that, yeah. See, I think once again this is because they're not reported because there's not a lot of birders in some of these areas, perhaps, or going to these locations. I see noisy pitter.
Noisy pitter and Singleton. And then in Singleton as well, green catbird, regent bowerbird. So I'm thinking this is probably on a tour.
Yeah.
Or a couple of birding buddies.
Out there having a go. Yeah, Regent Bowerbird, that's pretty much in its territory, but whether Stanhope.
Singleton, that's pretty far south.
Well, interesting note here. Singleton was founded by, I think it was Harry Lloyd Singleton, who is my great-great-great-great-grandfather.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, it's a local copper. He came out as a surveyor, but he got granted some land and he became the copper. And so there's a lot more to that story, but I will not go into it right now because
not today. Regent Bowerbird, known location in the details there.
Yes, I would say so. Yeah.
Red-browed tree creeper at Nambucca. Is that that's a good guess?
Oh, that's a nice sighting, but yeah, I would say that that it's not earth-shattering. Bell Minor.
Well, Crimson Chat at
Crimson Chat where?
Crimson Chat, Moray Plains. Well, that wouldn't be unusual. New Holland Honeyeater, Port Macquarie. What the hell? Are they?
Is that rare anywhere? If I got it in Broome, I'd be like, well, or Darwin, but New Holland,
Although maybe the white-cheeked is the bird that you expect to see there. I don't know.
okay, well, I'm breaking out the
White-cheeked honeyeater at Bronte.
Bronte. That's pretty uncommon.
I was saying that's not a bad get if that is confirmed.
New Holland are anywhere between here, between Sunshine Coast and Adelaide.
Okay, we've got
maybe it's out of habitat. Maybe cicada bird. Oh, they're always a goodie. They always sit there and annoy you.
I'm just going to quickly go through and see.
Yeah, red cap robin, hooded robin. Hooded robin's always a goodie.
Yep.
Not unusual, though.
I was very excited to see a pair of hooded robins. That was good. Song
my last tour that I took up to Cockatoo Valley, we got so many hooded robins, we practically stopped looking at them. It was fabulous. Beautiful bird, though.
Plum-headed finch, Bimby State Forest at Wedden. Do you know where Wedden is?
No.
Phone photo, no good. Finch with purplish patch on the forehead, brown on the back, stripes on white underside. Two birds presented with good views from 5 metres away. Well, that sounds like it probably is.
Yeah. It's a fairly unmistakable bird.
Yeah. I'm going to do a quick run through the Victorian ones, and then I'm going to go to places further afield, and we'll see what people have got. So I've got Australasian shoveler, brown quail, stubble quail, great crested grebe, white-headed pigeon in Vermont. Now that's, there's been a couple. Did they get the photos? Yeah, it looks like, oh no, just sitting on, there we are, photos. Pretty lousy photos, but there had been a couple of claims of white-headed pigeons in eastern Melbourne, so there we go. Oh no, the devil birds here, the coel. So I haven't heard one this summer yet, but that would be good. Now, in the inner east of Melbourne, the channel-billed cuckoo, photos taken, and it's been confirmed. So let's have a look in Studley Park. So that's a good one for Melbourne. The channel-billed cuckoo, black-eared cuckoo's also a good one. Oh, that's down near Geelong. So I'm going to say that's a good one. So there's a few of the black-eared cuckoo. Shining bronze cuckoo, that's not so amazing. Buff-banded rails, I'm not going to go there. Australian crake. Balin's crake. Spotless crake. Australian painted snipe. Bell's Swamp, Mount Alexander. Well, that's pretty good. Photograph.
Maybe becoming a common bird.
Yeah, maybe so.
Latham
snipe, wood sandpiper, common greenshank, ruddy turnstone, sharp-tailed.
Yeah. See, this is painted button quail.
Painted button quail. That's always a good get in the middle of the road. Well, that's often where you'll see them, isn't it? You'll just hear them, and you'll just flush them somewhere. So that's all around Moyne.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're around. They're all around the same place, and some good birders in those who have seen them. Fairy Turns, Ricketts Point. Okay, so that's on Port Phillip Bay. How many are people seeing? Is it just the one? Previously spotted, has a foot missing. Previously spotted with the right foot missing. That's a bit of a shame.
It's as good as banding, though, sometimes, unless there's a few of the right foot missing. Sadly, feet missing on birds. Sometimes with shorebirds, they've got a nip from a fish, but too often it's rubbish.
Fishing line. Yeah. Now, this notation even though it's in the same location, hasn't mentioned that the foot is missing, has it?
Well, they might not have noticed. It could have been isolated smell. Is a fairy turn that rare for down that?
Oh, here we go. This was the individual lacking the right foot. There we are. Okay, so let's assume that that's all the one bird. Caspian tern. Well, fairy terns were not unusual when I was a kid, but I would say that's a good sighting in Port Phillip Bay now. So Caspian tern, that's down at Moorabool, down in Geelong.
Whisker tern.
Whisker tern on a dam. Yeah, white wing tern. White wing tern, I think, is a good one. Down on the Bass Coast, looks like.
Funny little lotus amongst.
Gee, the exciting one there for me is the avocet in the batch there.
It's sort of like the black sheep of the flock, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where's the white winged tern though? There.
Yeah.
Wow, white winged tern, huh? Very cool.
That is.
Job. Look at those. Look at the roost of avocets out the back.
I know, behind it. That's amazing.
It's quite good.
Where was that? At Stockyard Point, down on the Bass Coast. Well, that one's a ripper. So, yeah, I'm excited by that one. Australasian bittern up at Mildura. Little egrets. Okay. Eastern cattle egrets. I'm not going to get excited by that. Plumed egret. Where were they? Horsham. Okay, that's nice. Glossy ibis. Someone seeing 16 glossy ibis. Where was that at Winton Wetlands? Okay, well, that's all the same place. 10, 6, 14, 38. Okay, so they're around.
It's been pretty heavily twitched.
Yep, that's good. Royal Spoonies. Collared Sparrowhawk. Okay, that's Mount Buller.
Why is that unusual? Is that unusual for that part of the world?
I think. Well, that's definitely got the square tail there, right? So that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, look, I just don't. I think they don't get noticed as much as.
So they're coming up as a rare bird, but it's just what it's saying is that people are getting out and about with some of these wetlands by the looks of it.
Yeah, and here's again on the Birding Echo Tour, white-bellied sea eagle juvenile. Okay, barn owl, dollar bird. I think that's a nice one. Getting the dollar birds. I mean, they used to be common when I was a kid down in the Yarra Ranges.
There were dollar birds in all the treetops for around Audley, at least, in Royal National Park today. That they arrived last week, along with the probably 2 weeks ago now, along with the rufous fantails, completing the northern migrants for the summer. So we've got all our northern migrants in. And
the yellow-faced honeyeaters have arrived here. That's good.
Yeah,
Black honeyeater in Little Desert. It's
nice. A little bit south, isn't it? It's not a bit south of its range. Let me consult the Bible.
Just saying what else everyone has got.
Oh, why is this weird phylogeny? Come on, guys, get it together.
So that was November 5th, Little Desert National Park, and then Red Bluff Track, West Wimmera, and Sisters Hill Lookout, West Wimmera.
Like honeyeater from that part of the world is not.
3 different sightings, 3 different locations. So
Yeah.
that's good.
It's kind of like not generally in its range. Well, it is in its
No.
range, but probably it's in like not its heartland, according to the Blue Book.
Scarlet.
On the Mizomala. Looks like we are.
So that's good. And crescent honeyeater. Well, if the yellow faced are around, the crescent should be around too. So that's good. White cheeked honeyeaters at Tamboon in East Gippsland. Okay, well that's.
Tell me, do you get the olive whistler down in your parts?
Well, in the Dandenongs, I've seen them. Like in.
Yeah, well, that would probably be. Yeah, that's part of sort of their heartland, isn't it? There and up through into the ranges.
On the Great Divide. Yep.
Yeah.
Certainly, I used to see them at Buxton and Taggart and Healesville, places like that. I haven't seen them in Melbourne. I have seen them in East Gippsland. These are nice shots of the
white-cheeked,
of the white-cheeked honeyeater in Tamboon. So I never saw the white-cheeked honeyeater when I was in East Gippsland. Oh, here's another nice one: the striped honeyeater in West Wimmera. So again, that's out west. Painted honeyeater in Horsham. So that it looks like this is where. Yeah. That's a good. These are good shots too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Nice.
So that's good, and they're all Horsham on a Trust for Nature block. So that is really good news. Pilot bird at Tatong. So that's up in the northeast.
That's probably a good one.
Heard once. Check call against the app. Fig bird in Ballarat. That's a good one. I think they're probably dispersing further and further. Yeah, fig bird in the Botanic Gardens. I've seen them. I saw a fig bird in the Botanic Gardens got to be about 12 years ago, and everyone told me, "Nah, you're full of it, mate. Bullshit." But and I went, "Yeah, all right, no worries. You're all geniuses."
I'm thinking, did I get fig birds about a month ago when I was in Melbourne at visiting Melbourne Zoo?
Oh, quite possibly. If the big figs are fruiting, I would say, yeah. I mean, but yeah, years ago, I reckon I saw them and people told me I was crazy.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I have a sense like that. I heard them there. I mean, I was just thrilled to sit down and have lunch and see white-browed scrubwrens bobbing around in the middle of the zoo. And yeah.
White-browed wood swallows up at Moyne. So this is all up north of the Divide. The white-breasted wood swallows, the masked wood swallow, the white-browed wood swallow. So that's all. They're all good gets. Again, good.
Mornington Peninsula. Wow, this time of year, yeah.
Yeah, no, well that's not unusual depending on where it is. And I was going to say, I bet it's in Greens Bush, and that's where it is. Greens Bush is where.
I thought they were altitudinal migrants.
Greens Bush is this weird bit near Main Ridge where you see lots of these dense forest birds. It's like the last little patch of magnificent stuff on the peninsula. So yeah, I'm not surprised that is in. It looks like there's a photo here. Here we go.
Yeah, it's very much a rose robin.
So yeah, I'm not surprised that it's in Greens Bush. Let's see if they've both got photos. No, just call. So pair calling, so that's great. Brown songlarks, rufous songlarks, again Macedon Ranges, Malmesbury, so north of the Divide. Oh, Eurasian tree sparrow. Well, I've had Eurasian tree sparrows in just outside my window this morning.
Yes, they're a common bird in Melbourne, aren't they? We got them in. I got them in Melbourne Zoo.
Yeah, well, generally the house sparrow is going to be more common, but just around me, the tree sparrow is is pretty common, and I like them. I was actually thinking this morning that if I was ever going to keep small birds again, I'd probably keep some tree sparrows because they're really interesting to watch. I think they're cooler than the house sparrow by a long way. And what have we got here? We've got a red-browed firetail.
I do like a sparrow.
Yeah,
I love a sparrow.
I like watching them carrying on. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, Ricki, is we've done the New South Wales and Victoria. I'm going to now have a look at the Indonesian rare bird alerts. Now, we're not going to know any of these. Oh, well, it's only two. It's only two birds, but how cool are these names? Okay, the large hawk cuckoo.
Oh, we're not seeing it here.
At Ubud in Bali. Okay, that's
are you
nice.
sharing it? Because we're not seeing it.
Oh, sorry. Share this tab instead. Sorry, I forgot to click it. Are you seeing it now?
We are seeing it. The large hawk cuckoo.
Large hawk cuckoo. Mado Suraya, the birding tours in Bali. Very, very, very good birder. So that's all on that bird tour and that's at Ubud. So that's lots of people know that. And then we've got
Supertramp fantail.
the Supertramp fantail. Now, what a great name. But this is in Papua. So restricted access at the site. That would be one that you would love to go to. Supertramp. Now, surely it's not doesn't have a call going, take a look at my girlfriend. Anyway, so that's Indonesia, and I've got hang on, that one was supposed to be India. Well, I'll get rid of that, and we will see if we can get India up.
Yeah, we'd like to see maybe somewhere around India. I would love to hear from some Indian birders on this. It's become such a thing in India.
I've reached out to so many to talk to them on the pod, and they're all suffering from that their views wouldn't be very very interesting or anything. And I'm thinking, and I keep saying, no, we're all really interested. That's why we're asking you. So I'll keep trying.
Especially too for people who want to go and tour in India, because India, you can go to India, and of course, like the birding is insanely good, and so's the wildlife in tigers and panthers and rhinoceroses and elephants and Asiatic lions and so many monkeys and antelope, all the good stuff and things you've never heard of wandering around in those jungles in India.
That's right, and it's like get them before they're gone. Okay, India. Have you got it up on the screen there now?
I have got it up.
Okay, so lesser white-fronted goose.
This is going to be a huge roll call, I can see too.
I don't
Which
know
is probably
whether
like
that's
we
a
should
good
maybe done Tamil Nadu or something like that.
Knob-billed duck, ruddy-shelled duck, one of the good ones. Cotton pygmy goose. I love all those. Look at all the ducks. Common shelled duck, gargany, northern shoveler, gadwall, European widgeon, northern pintail, green-winged teal, Eurasian.
A lot of these birds. Kruger's duck, yeah.
So that's green-winged teal, Eurasian, and then the green-winged teal. So that's two different ones. Pochard. Look at this.
There's been pochard
here we go.
in Australia.
Here we go. Crested, chestnut-breasted partridge, the cheer pheasant, the Carly pheasant, red spurfowl, painted spurfowl, jungle fowl, red and grey jungle fowl, grey francolin, painted francolin.
See, we like francolins. They're fantastic bird. The bush quail.
What an amazing lot of different pigeons and different species.
Well, that's
Bush
interesting.
quails.
So you've got the Columbia. Here it is, Columbia livia, the wild type of the rock pigeon. That's
Let's
interesting.
have a look. Let's have a
I
look at the
thought that bird
details.
was actually confined. Yeah, actually confined to some islands near the UK, wasn't it?
I don't know, but we've got one at.
Why is this on a
I
rare
don't know.
bird list?
I don't know. One says very common. So, Oriental turtle dove.
In my experience in India, I went to India for a couple of weeks some years ago, and I don't remember seeing a Columbia livia anywhere.
So here's the
Oh,
Oriental
that's the
turtle
Oriental
dove,
turtle dove. Well, that's a different one.
which I would call the spotted turtle dove.
Yeah.
So collared
Eurasian.
dove, red collared dove, spotted dove. So hang on. So is this a different one, the spotted dove?
This is why they don't call it the spotted dove anymore, I don't think. Do they call it spotted dove anymore?
I don't know. Well,
It's not the Bible.
I knew it as the Indian turtle dove when I was a kid, and then it became the spotted
Yeah.
dove, and now it's. So
Well, it
I
was
don't
the
know.
spotted turtle dove for a little while too.
Yeah, spotted turtle dove, Indian turtle dove.
We got all the
Anyway.
pigeons. I got fantastic views today of wonga pigeons that walked right up to me in Royal National Park, and same for brown cuckoo doves. You know, flew right up and just so confiding, and several hundred of top knot pigeons as well. So we got all the columbiforms in the royal today. Spotted dove. We call this spotted dove. Yeah, there it is. Spilopelia chinensis.
Yeah. Have a look at this group in the Indian list. Eurasian nightjar, Jerdon's nightjar, Indian nightjar, Savannah nightjar. That's pretty cool. And then you've got the white-throated needletail, which of course is our spine-tailed swift. So, yep, India looks like a great place to go to get a whole lot of ticks, doesn't it? Look at all these.
Well, yeah, it's
Western swan.
I find you get stacks of in India. Apart from you get a lot of raptors, but you go to any town and look up above, look in the sky, and there's swifts everywhere.
Yeah,
there are so many swifts in India. You go along any waterway, and the kingfishers are amazing.
What about the Indian thick knee? Let's have a look. Have we got a photo? No. Oh, it was camouflage, photographed clearly, but I didn't put the photograph up.
Put the photo in. That's a really funny comment. You're like, great photo.
It is. Yeah, I got a great photo. I'm not letting you see it, though.
Yeah. That's funny.
Oh, Jack Snipe.
What the hell? Here's Ryan.
Yeah, and here's another one. Photographed, but I'm not letting you see it.
That's funny, isn't it?
Solitary snipe feeding in a rough tail. Let's see if the pin-tailed snipe, if we've got photographed. Yeah, photographed. Okay. Good on you. Photographed, but we're not letting you see it. Common snipe. There we are. Accidentally startled by me. I like some of these.
The language, yeah. You mean flushed?
The small button quail. There we go. It blew up suddenly. I think it flew up. Blew up.
Only if someone shot
it. Small Pratt & Cole.
Wow.
Photo. Like this. And a sound recording. I like that.
It's like a little Pratt & Cole.
There we go. Oh, I can't really tell from that photo. I'm sure. Oh, yeah, that's better.
Oh, there you go.
There's a group of them. Yeah. There's a group of them. That's good.
So small Pratt & Coles. Well, that's new to me.
Oriental Pratt & Cole. Collared Pratt & Cole. I don't know that one either.
Right.
Looks like we've got a couple of photos here. I know. Oh, yes, here we go.
There
Look
you
at
go.
that. There's a group here.
Oh, it's a handsome bird, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Look at the russet.
Mm.
Um, oh, yeah, that is a nice one, isn't it?
Mm. Very handsome bird.
Very cool. Very cool. Black-headed gull, brown noddy, camel nutto, little tern, river tern. So lots of terns. Data. Oh, what's a lesser adjutant?
Oh, do you know I have heard of this bird?
There's a lesser and a greater. Um,
Oh,
we'll
I've
add
heard this bird.
photos. The greater looks like it's got photos. Okay, what are these birds? Are they storks? They are. Are they wood storks or marabous or something? Let's have a
Oh,
look.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, they look like they're storks. And they do. They look like they're a marabou. Looking at that head. Oh, there we go. That's not something I'd ever heard of before. Not with that name, so that's great. Darters, cormorants, bittens, night herons. Oh. Yeah, India just looks amazing, doesn't it? Then you got vultures, osprey, honey buzzard, bazzers,
I
more
actually went to
vultures.
India with Kent Killaby, who might still be with us. And although we didn't
Amazing.
necessarily go birding to India, you can't help but notice the amazing
Look at all
diversity and
these.
abundance of birds there.
Look at all these raptors. Crested gossamer. Oh, it makes me think I should. And then all the kingfishers. You mentioned all the kingfishers. Bee eaters.
So they'll have a good rollers, yeah.
Rollers, barbettes.
I remember once I was wandering through a temple in Tiruchirappalli, and a hoopoe flew through the garden.
Oh, very
And that
nice.
was a tick for me to get the hoopoe, and quite just there it was. It just flew through, and it was just like wow, a hoopoe.
A Eurasian hoopoe.
My fully loaded locust tree, all the ripe fruit has been sitting there for weeks. That's interesting, isn't it?
That is interesting. Stan's just given us a mystery. He's got a huge, fully loaded locust tree, and it's untouched. All the ripe fruit has been sitting there for weeks. And that hasn't happened before, with lots of parrot and lorikeet attention. I wonder, Stan, whether all of your lorikeets are actually over here at the moment, because there are masses of them at the moment. So it's amazing.
Well, because they are primarily blossom migrants. So if things haven't blossomed along with the fruiting of the locust, or something's blossomed elsewhere in such
they might have just moved out because
they're
something else was going
blossom
on.
migrants. They're blossom nomads.
Now, Kemp was mentioning that that he might be taking Trish, I think, on your tour. Would that might be what we were talking about? I don't know. And how's this? Kemp's had
three glossy
blacks flying over the other week during the bird count. Well done. Hadn't seen them for a few years.
That's pretty cool.
Now, my concern with the glossy blacks is always, there's been a number of places where feeding habitat has been cleared recently, so it makes me wonder whether they're looking for new places, and hopefully they find it. Fingers crossed. So that is a really good get. So the only other place I wanted to look at, we did Malaysian, didn't we? Okay, so we've done Malaysian, Sarawak, Indonesia. I wanted to do somewhere in Australia that we haven't done before. So let's have a look now. at Western Australia. Let's see what's been popping up in Western Australia in the last 7 days. Pacific Coel, okay. In Broome, okay.
Yeah.
Black-tailed native hen.
Yeah. Black-tailed. Is that black-tailed? Oh, it's not in Broome. Yeah, I remember getting a black-tailed native hen at the poo ponds in Broome once. It was very funny. I was wandering around. I watched it for a while, and then I gave it a little fright.
Down at Manjimup. So that's not bad. Down in the southwest. Balin's crake at Broome. Common ring plover, Broome. Swinhose snipe, Broome. Red knot.
Oh, is that Lake Eder? Did that say Lake Eder? The Swinhose snipe? Scroll up a little there. Lake Eder. Yeah, okay. Right, cool, fine. Who got that? Rocky Wild. Okay.
Nigel cool. Jacket. There we are. Good on you, Nigel.
Swinhose snipe. Yaru, Bird Conservation Partner. So that's Lake Nimalaika at Broome. Wait on, I'm missing
two spots. Lake Eder, and then
Lake Nimalaika. Yeah, okay. So that's just a little bit north. You go from Broome Bird Observatory, cut across the highway, back up onto the road, continue northward, and you come to Lake Nimalaika, and that's where they've got them.
And we got some red knots in Armidale in WA. So that's
I don't know where that is. So,
Forestdale Lake. So I'm thinking Armidale is actually in Perth, isn't it? So
yeah, probably.
Sharptail Sandpiper, Laverton. I don't know where Laverton is. Oh, Sunrise Dam Gold Mine. Okay, Laverton. Okay.
Black Bitten, Broome. Oh, that's a nice one. That Nimalaika as well, a black bitten. Very good. I'm not sure if we once got a black bitten there. Well, I got a few travelling through on Gibb River Road at a few spots. We stopped and we got black bittens.
Australian grass owl, Broome.
Sure. Is that out the back?
Station.
Roebuck Plains Station. That'll be out the back of the observatory. Who's gone out there? So the BBO staff have gone out there, Davey Seacon. So they've gone out the back, because you can get them out the back. In the grass right behind the observatory, and that's on Roebuck Plains Station. Yeah, so that's very cool. Good to see.
Scarlet-chested parrot, that's nice. Dark-sided. I'm going to say, what's the dark-sided flycatcher?
Oh right, okay. That is because they split. Oh wait, on the dark-sided.
So what is it like? Nigel Jacket's taken this photo.
Yeah, that's this is a vagrant bird. Dark-sided flycatcher. Very nice. Is that on the list, Stephen? Dark-sided flycatcher.
Browse Island in the Timor Sea. So,
but where did he get? Oh, he got on Browse Island. Dark-sided flycatcher.
Off Wyndham.
Yeah, probably could be. Yeah, could
okay, and Nigel. So that's October 31 at 6 a.m. 6 a.m.
Dark-sided flycatcher is apparently. It's been seen in the Pilbara and offshore islands. Yeah. Yeah, looks like one. Cool.
Same photo for all those reports. Yeah. Okay, so there we are. So that is WA, just to show us.
See someone's going out the back and getting the grass owls back of the observatory. That's fine.
Yeah, getting the grass owls anywhere is
pretty much. I think you've got to go out and flush them, unfortunately. But,
yeah, which
it's not generally possible.
Nice to hear them. So, all right, I can stop that. So there we are, Ricki. That's sort of our tour around Australia and parts of the world, and So the silver eyes are, I think, my only notable. I can't think of. That's my only notable, other than Shadows, obviously seeing the the tree sparrows out the back there and getting excited. What did I see today? I did see a large group of look like little black cormorants in formation heading sort of southeast. So they were up high. I didn't have binoculars with me, but they did look like little blacks. So
you didn't have binoculars with you. What's going on?
Well, I was going down to the supermarket to get my tofu, so I didn't have. I don't usually take binoculars with me when I go down to the shopping centre because that's kind of not. I kind of don't want to be known as the old dude with the binoculars walking around the streets. So, there's still some issues with that, I think. So, yeah. So, well, Ricki, what's going on in the next couple of weeks? I can tell you that.
Well, I got a bunch of tours coming up. So I've got a number of Americans and the Dutch. The Dutch invasion continues. I have so many Dutch birders coming on tours.
Very good.
Yeah, I've got my Birding Essentials workshop coming up on December 3. I've started promoting my next for next year. It doesn't start till early February. My next Birdwatching course.
Oh, very good. Well,
and so that you got to promote that in advance, and then I'm
Aussiewild.com.au.
Yes. I'm also getting ready for school holidays, for getting all the kids out into the bush, I'm also looking at getting a little bit of a birding group together. And I think we mentioned this last week. Bird herd. So I'm kind of like putting some ideas together for that.
Yeah, we'll do a bit more workshopping on how to do that. I mean, I can't really take on leading one of those down here unless I get myself a car, which I'm still resisting, but maybe I should think about it. I'm thinking more and more that maybe I should think about getting a little ute or something and maybe getting back into it. But
yeah. Well, I'm picking up a new car in a couple of weeks, probably within the next 2 weeks. Something I've been waiting for nearly 18 months.
I'd just pick up an old banger.
Yeah, see, I wonder. Well, this is something that I'm going to use also to run my my Outback Odyssey tours as well. So it's just a little all-road. It's just a Yaris Cross, but it's a all-road hybrid.
They're quite nice. I saw a Yaris yesterday that turned my eye. It was not a new one, but I thought, gee, that's a handy little thing.
Well, I've got a little Yaris, and I'm going to trade that in on the Yaris Cross. And the Yaris Cross is a tad bigger, but it's hybrid, all-wheel drive, all the bells and whistles, and so it's an all-road and soft road kind of car. But you wouldn't really want to take it off road.
Yeah, you don't want to take it down any rocky escarpments.
You don't want to scratch it either.
No. Very, very good.
That bush bashing thing with all-wheel drive.
I can tell you, on Sunday, I think I'm going to Reading's bookshop to see Sean Dooley speaking at Daryl Jones's new book launch or book event in Melbourne, and then the Monday morning, which is the 13th, I think the plan is to be at the Botanic Gardens early in the morning for a walk around with Daryl. And I don't know if Sean's at that one, but a walk around the Bot Gardens in Melbourne with Daryl. So I probably should promote that stuff, although he's got a publisher and a publicist to do all of that. The other thing I wanted to let people know, and I'll just open up my email so that I can get the details right. who emailed me it yesterday. Where is it? Here we are. Plant propagation workshop for the Upper Goulburn Land Care Network out of Yea. That's on seed propagation. Let's have a look. The 18th of November, I'll put this up on the website and promote it a bit more. Homewood Hall, 28 Homewood Road, Yea, 18th of November, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's a seed propagation workshop for the Homewood (Yellow Creek, Dairy Creek) Land Care Group. And it's really about propagating from seed. There'll be a sausage sizzle. You do need to RSVP, so I will pop details for that on the birdemergency.com/live in this birdwatching deep dive bit, and we'll promote it a bit on Twitter as well, and maybe Insta. I'll reach out to them and see if they'd like me to do that. Look out for things like that if you're interested in building places for birds to live, because it's a really good way to get some plants. I went looking. I went on the website at Bunnings, and then I went looking at the nearby nurseries. I'd been living in a fantasy land. It's so long since I bought potting mix or anything. My goodness, it's about 200%, maybe 300% more expensive than the last time I bought a bag of potting mix. So, wow, scary stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, I guess people who make potting mix have to make a living.
Well, yeah. Well, everything's gone up, and
yeah.
I don't.
I can put the prices of my tours up.
well, you need to. Actually, I'm just
enjoying the throng. Huh?
Well, I'm just looking at my podcast production prices, and they're certainly going up because everything that I use to produce podcasts is going up. So, yeah, that's just life. It's
hard because you want to hold back because you don't want to be part of this cycle of, rising prices all the time. But you wind up being a loser if you don't.
In the last 2 weeks, I've just had notifications about changes to our trading terms and changes to our...
Which means prices are going up.
That's right. Everything's going up. And I mean, you don't have any opportunity to negotiate. So that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So, Ricki, what you reckon? Are we going to catch up again in about 2 weeks' time?
We are indeed. And I might even, I don't know, we will have to discuss this, but I wouldn't mind diving into the horror story that is the life of being a superb fairy wren.
I'm up for that. I'm very up for that. Folks in the...
I think these cute little birds, man, what a horror story.
I reckon that the superb fairy wren gets a lot of attention. I wish we could do...
They are more researched than any other bird in Australia, I believe. And looking at the papers, there are just piles and piles of them.
Yeah.
And it's because there's a few in various botanic gardens around the place that, of course, have been colour banded, so everyone can jump in and research these birds. But some of the aspects of the stories of their lives and why they do what they do, it is a desperate struggle to survive for these birds. It is not... Life's leash is very tenuous for little fairy wrens, and it's quite when you start to get have a deep dive into them, it's pretty spooky. Yeah, so I think it's something.
If there's anything that you would like me to read in advance so that we can have an informed discussion, send me the link.
I might send you some papers.
I'll get on to that. Maybe I'll find some people to interview for the pod as well.
Ooh.
Who knows?
Yeah, well, there's some fabulous people out there working with fairy wrens.
Yes.
That's all happening. And Fairy wrens are so interesting habitats where they occur and where they don't occur, and it's very interesting. They're a fascinating group of birds, the fairy wrens, no doubt about it, and lots of questions still to be answered about their lives.
Exactly. Oh,
I think it's always good to the fairy wren, and everyone loves a fairy wren.
well, Stan loves his SFWs.
I guess he's meaning his superb. Well, we might even bust out the paper, the not too distant past paper on Kangaroo Island, superb fairy wrens versus mainland ones. And
okay, send me that link and let's bust that out while we talk superb fairy wrens. And I might even cast my net a little bit wider. I might see if Joe or Alison from the Fairy Wren Project is available. So Ricki, tell me, send me when you're available.
What joy! If we can get someone from the Fairy Wren Project on, I'd love it.
Send me a couple of options, and we'll see if we can do that. That would be fun.
And to keep boosting that along too, to get people more involved and engaged with that wonderful project.
Yes, and as Stan being Captain Obvious today, yes, cool. That would be interesting. Very true. I agree, and I concur. And there's nothing wrong with being Captain Obvious when it's such a logical and good point. So there we go. All right. Well, I think that's about it, folks. We're going to
pass out after having got up before 4 a.m. this morning.
I get up before 4 a.m. every morning, so I'm always
4:30 riser. 4 a.m.
I get up at about 3, and do some stuff, and then I take Shadow for a walk. And then I cook me breakfast, and then I catch up on the terrible news of the world. And then I go and relax, do some bird watching as it comes out, the sun comes out, and the birds get active.
Yes, can I say that we're still feeling the echoes, the repercussions of the no vote, and that shouldn't be forgotten. Terrible things happening in Palestine. Terrible things happening in Ukraine.
Yeah,
actually, yeah.
It's a very good time.
Trump raiding Godzilla like through everything that stands in his way.
I must admit, I did watch a lot of the people keeping tabs on Trump's testimony today.
Oh, yeah? How's he going?
The guy's a turkey.
He's gonna be Teflon Don.
Yeah, it's just really interesting to see what makes news. You know, it really is. I was looking around for more good news stories, good news stories, but there wasn't a lot that I could sort of construct a show around. So
I'm sure. Today I bumped into a young fellow from Germany, and sort of showed him a few birds and that, and it's always great to see young folk coming through. I have to say, when I do my kids, my discovery kids, the 8 to 12-year-olds in Royal National Park, there's often in these groups, a young boy or girl will turn up and with their own binoculars and say, my list is, 180 birds, or, I'm getting into it. And they're like 8 years old. And
I love that.
Yeah. They're kind of a bit like Danny Rogers, who I always love his bio that says started birding at 4 and he regrets those 3 wasted years.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
But it is cool to see people, getting into birds earlier in life, and and when you do, you never let it go. You don't let go of the bird thing, and you go on to be a great contributor to our knowledge of birds and enthusiasm for birds in the people around you. And it's great to see. So, I hold out so much hope for that. And the young fellow I was walking today said since he's got into birds, he's just seen so much more detail and understanding. And he's travelling Australia, and it was here he got into birding. So he's walking around with like a 600mm lens on his camera and everything, and he's only got into it in the last month or so. And he's just loving it, and he's very, very enthusiastic.
That's really, really great, isn't it?
That someone comes out here on a holiday and then goes, wow, look at this, I'm in.
Yeah.
And and you do. And I've met a few people in the last month who've just taken up birding and become excited by it, and they're incredibly excited. And then I have the people who come and sign up for my courses, like the birdwatching course, and they're quite new to it, and everything's exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking to get a meetup going, maybe in somewhere like Bendigo or Ballarat in the near future. So
wow, that'd be great.
Working on that with some people and a couple of locations. So maybe we'll try the idea out and see how we go, and if it works,
use the drive there and bird all the way.
Well, when you don't have a car, I've got to do whatever I can with public transport, or teaming up with someone else who wants to go and do something similar. So we'll just keep an eye on what people are interested in, and we'll see if we can do something before it gets too stinking hot, or maybe just after it's been really stinking hot. I don't know.
Oh, this not works for me. Oh, because I'm already thinking I could go through Chiltern on the way down there, and I could.
Yeah, well, places like Chiltern are really good. Some of those regular flooded swamps, irregularly flooded swamps up around what's it called?
Chiltern Wodonga way.
Yeah, and near Violet Town and in around there. I can't think of just can't think. It's near Violet Town. Near Benalla, up around Benalla. Good places. And Chiltern, of course. Anywhere you can find a box woodland up there, good place. So
because the first time I went there birding, I went with uni. So the Exalted Dave Watson took us there. And it was quite good because doing the course at the same time was, speaking of Exalted, was Chris Hassel, the great shorebird man.
Yep.
So it was great to do some birding with him there. So and to experience his enthusiasm.
It's great birding with good
knowledge. He's a great birder. Chris Hassel's a good birder. And,
great birding with good.
He should be more celebrated, that man. And he's a past warden of Broome Bird Observatory
as well. Okay.
And and he's done a lot of work over the years. The Global Flyway Network, put together by the great Turnus Piersma, and out of the Groningen Sea Research Institute there in the Netherlands. And but Chris is fantastic.
Cool.
So
okay. So I'm just looking at some other sightings people have had, but we'll do all that.
Yes, I must off anyway.
All right. You tell me when we're doing the next one, and I'll let everyone know, and we'll.
Yeah, I'll shoot all the intro through, but we're probably looking at around about 2 weeks-ish, aren't we?
Great, and we're talking superb fairy wrens and more interesting bird sightings from all around, plus our personal highlights. Thanks again, Ricki.
Great, thank you, and till I see you next, go well and happy birding.
And good on you, Riot Squad. Nice to see you all again in the audience. See you soon.
Bye.